Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Toe the Line. Today is Sunday, November 24th, 2024, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a video, and I apologize for that. I want to go back. I want to start out with saying that, hey, guys, I appreciate all the follows. I appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. Keep the shares coming. I know this page doesn't have a lot of followers, and I'm okay with that. I'd love to see more, but this is just content that is just opinion based, in my opinion based, and if other people want to put comments on their opinion, that's totally fine. We'll start off going back. So I know the last couple of videos that I had talked about, we had discussed the complaints that were filed on Coburn, Griffin, and Officer Junior, and that they were all exonerated. No policy violations found. Of course, we believe that is probably because we're the ones that filed it, and it wasn't another citizen, but whatever. We did have our meeting with the mayor, the city attorney, and Lieutenant Chris Burrow, myself, and Amanda Erickson. Of course, I was via phone because I was out on the road, but she was there in person. And, there's just some gaslighting, a lot of gaslighting, I guess you could say, in the meeting. None of them were prepared for the meeting. The mayor wasn't prepared for it. The city attorney wasn't prepared for it. And whether that's their fault or our fault, I'm not going to place blame on that. But we discussed some things. We discussed that complaint, the complaint in reference to Jack Nelson Jr., and then we turned around and discussed the complaint on Coburn, Sergeant Coburn, for the incident in front of New China there on China Walk there on North First, the night where he gave out some information on me that was false. And I did a video on that as well, and you can go back and watch that if you choose to do so. Both him and the chief accused me of being involved in this alleged theft of a trailer or dropping something illegal off. I was following a vehicle. A lot of accusations on the whole stop from the chief and from Sergeant Coburn. But, of course, we filed a complaint on it because it was unprofessional. And, again, Sergeant Coburn came back exonerated. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. Sergeant Coburn might have something on Lieutenant Chris Burrow. He might have something on Chief Hibbs. Because he can get away with just about anything, it seems like. He can talk to anybody he wants to. He can violate people's civil rights. He can violate policies and get away with it. But when we walked out of the meeting, we did reschedule another meeting. This time we're bringing in the chief of police, Chief Hibbs. Of course, I'm sure we're going to get gaslit just a little bit more because they don't want to hear from us. The mayor doesn't want to hear from us. The city attorney doesn't want to hear from us. Jeff Elmore, Stephanie Friedman, Lieutenant Chris Burrow, Chief Brett Hibbs. None of you want to hear from us. None of you. You have so much going on in that police department, and when I got off when I got off the phone that day on the complaint, I really started doing some thinking, and of course I'm not happy with how the police department's handling the things, and they're blowing smoke or gaslighting, whatever you want to call it, to myself and Amanda Erickson, and they're lying. They're all a bunch of liars. They can lie when it works for them, but they can't lie. They'll prosecute anybody else for lying. So, I thought I need to talk to the mayor one on one. So I called the mayor, or excuse me, I called the mayor's office, had the mayor call me, and he called me back. And I said, Mayor, Mayor being Jeff Elmore, if you're watching this, or if you're going to watch it, which you don't watch my videos because you don't want to know the truth. But I have I told the mayor, I said, I have a problem here. I said, you have experience in the police department. You know how the police department's policies go. And you don't care to know what's going on at your police department. You don't have a clue of what is going on at your police department. I've proved him wrong once on the Ronnie Ford situation where he, words out of his own mouth is that he saw several discrepancies in the videos and issues that needed to be addressed, and he addressed them with Chief Hibbs. Granted, it was outside the complaint period of 30 days, but hey, we took that as a win, right? Went to the mayor. The mayor did, or hope he did what he was supposed to do. At least he says he did. I don't know. So I go back to where, I wanted the mayor to understand this is what's going on. This is what's going on with your police department. I didn't steal anything from the police department, right? I didn't get fired for stealing. He's like, yeah, John, you're not a thief. I said, but the police department can call me a thief and on a traffic stop to somebody who I've never met and who I don't know, and they're totally okay with it. There's no policy violations. They think it's funny. But if I put their personal information out here on this video, if I was to tell you where Chris Burrow lived, if I was to tell you the situations that he's been in trouble for in the past, if I was to put Brett Hibbs' personal information out there, if I'd put out there what he's done in the past, then they would come after me. They would come after me with, guns ablazing. You know, a lot of those people up there can't throw rocks in a glass house. I can't throw rocks in a glass house, and I can't claim to. So, I just wish the citizens of Jacksonville understood that. I wish that the citizens of Jacksonville took seriousness behind what these police officers are doing and what they're not doing. They're allowing criminals, drug dealers, drug users to throw away marijuana at 10:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was at come and go. They're allowing police officers to be bullies. They're allowing them to violate people's constitutional rights. They're allowing them to make frivolous traffic stops. They're allowing them to do these things and make these false arrests under false pretenses, and they're okay with it. Well, I'm going to give you just a little bit of information, guys. Okay? Just a little bit of something that I wanted to go over. For the citizens that watch this, if you shared or whatever else. First things first, everybody should know that Mayor Jeff Elmore was an auxiliary officer at the police department for 10 years, 11 years, something along those lines, along with being a department chaplain up there. Okay. Numerous times, well, I say numerous, several times, Jeff Elmore came out and rode with me on the streets when he was a uniformed auxiliary, come out to assist and come out and help on parades and come out and help on Halloween night. And he would come out and air show and stuff like that. Okay. Didn't do a lot of ride-alongs there toward the end of his career, last several few years of his career, from my understanding, because Mayor Jeff Elmore was involved in the narcotics division with none other than Lieutenant Chris Burrow. Now, y'all think whatever you want to think, but I'm telling you right now that Lieutenant Chris Burrow and Jeff Elmore are buddy-buddy. Jeff Elmore was knee deep in that narcotics section back there, because I was on the SRT team and he was always coming out to help serve search warrants with mask on because he didn't want anybody to know who he was. Same thing with Chris Burrow. Chris Burrow was the sergeant over the narcotics division. Um, so I think there is a connection there. I think there is, same thing with Chief Hibbs. Um, I think Chief Hibbs, Chris Burrow, the captains, Captain Richard Betterton, Captain Ryan Wright, Captain Kim Lett, the lieutenants, Steve Bowdnick, Sean Jones, Nicole Summerlin, Mike K. Rigg, Cassie Blackerby, um, whoever else is lieutenant up there by now, the sergeants and all the patrolmen think that they have an in up there because the mayor was one of them or whatever else. Well, Mayor Elmore, if you watch this or if you're paying attention, I would hope that you would gain control of your police department and hold them accountable and want some transparency in that police department because they don't care. Um, I hope that our next meeting that comes up on December 4th, I do believe. I don't want to tell y'all wrong. Yeah, December 4th. With Chief now being involved in it, which that's just going to be, another person to gaslight us and lie to us and blow smoke up our butt. But I'm not going to back down from this. I'm not going to back down from this professionalism. I'm not going to or from his lack of professionalism, where I believe he had been drinking before getting out on the traffic stop. I think he was out with his family. He had his kids in the car. Didn't know those two people. Didn't identify himself as a police officer, the police chief, or whatever. But anyway, um, I'll move on. So after I got off the phone, or excuse me, when I was talking to the mayor, I wanted to find out exactly what I needed to do to file formal complaint on Chief Hibbs and Lieutenant Chris Burrow in the Internal Affairs Division because I believe that they weren't doing their job and that they were just allowing things to happen because it was just me that was writing them up or me that was complaining or Amanda Erickson was complaining, and Lord knows nobody up there at the police department likes me or her, even though I've received information from police officers up there. I've had them call me, I've had them text me and so forth, and I'm a city employee with working knowledge and and I'll get you whatever you want, but you need to stay away from this person and you need to stay away from this person. And they all want to use their fake phone numbers. And I've had threats and everything else. Believe me, if you want, it doesn't make a difference. So he said yes, that I could file a complaint through him with the on the police chief, the Internal Affairs Division, and Lieutenant Chris Burrows. So that's in fact what was done. The following Monday, a complaint was filed. And now, if Mayor Elmore is unable to complete that complaint because he has too much connection with the police department, which I'm telling you he does, because he was working hand in hand in the narcotics division with the lieutenant of internal affairs, and of course he's buddy with the chief of police. So we'll see where that complaint goes. But after I got off the phone with him, I thought, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to FOI. I wanted to FOI the internal affairs complaint stats from 2018, which is when Chris Burrow was a sergeant and he was against policy, moved into that position under the expert or non-expertise of former Chief John Franklin, and worked under Dean Scroggins until Dean Scroggins retired. So I wanted to see the stats, and these stats are very telling for my point. Citizens, I don't know if you understand it or not, but I'm going to throw this first picture up there, okay? And we're going to go over it here, and it talks about 2018, 2019. They had 10 internal reviews in 2010, 17, and 2019. Those were five of those, 2018, three supervisory investigations, three internal affairs investigations. And then there was one that resulted in remedial training, one that resulted in disciplinary like days off, and then there was zero terminations. 2019, the totals went up to 28, 17 internal reviews, five supervisory investigations, six internal affairs investigations. Three of those were remedial, three disciplinary, resulted in disciplinary, and there was one termination, which in 2019, the one termination was me, because I was terminated on December 31st, 2019. So now we're going to go through 2020, which now this is when interim chief Joseph McCullough takes over, and for a short period of time. And this is also when the interim chief Brett Hibbs takes over after McCullough gets removed, and it is time to make him chief in the year 2020. Now, this is what I want you to understand. This is what you need to know, okay? There was a drop in 2020, okay? There was 26 total investigations. That's minus 2 from the year before. 8 of those were internal reviews, internal affairs reviews, from, 10 supervisory investigations. 8 of those internal affairs investigations, along with 3 remedial training issues. 2 of those resulted in days off. 2 of those resulted in terminations. So there were, in fact, 2 more terminations in 2020. Now, 2021, this is about a full year, probably just a little bit under a year that Hibbs has been chief. Guess what, guys? We've went up plus 4. 30 total complaints, 17 reviews, 9 supervisory investigations, 4 internal affairs investigations, 1 remedial. 6 of them resulted in days off, disciplinary action, no terminations. Okay, so there's a trend there. It's not a good trend, in my opinion. You can take a screenshot of this or whatever else, and you can blow this up. And this is information that is from Lieutenant Chris Burrow. Now, mind you, I don't like how he did this when I FOI'd it. I think this is more of the end of the year review that he gives the chief just for his stats. Now, I think these stats can be padded because I worked in the police department, and I'm sure they can throw a couple of numbers on there, knock a couple of numbers off to make it seem better or whatever else. But the numbers are going up. So now let's move on to the next one. And here we go. We are now looking at, let's see, the last one we looked at was 21. So now let's look up at 22. We went from 30 to 33. Went from 4 internal affairs investigations to 8. And we went from 1 remedial to 0 remedial, 9 disciplinary hearings, which resulted in days off but there was no termination. There was one. I'm sorry. There was 1 termination and 1 resignation. Okay, in 2022, I guess in reference to the investigation. 2023, we go up again. We go up 2 more complaints. Now we're up to 35 25 internal reviews. We're down on the supervisory investigations. We're you know, they're starting to have more complaints, it seems like, all of a sudden. But guess what? It seems like our results are going down. They're not finding as many of them guilty, it seems like. I could be wrong. But in 2024, so far this year, in 2024, and this was just as about last week, 32. Okay, we're already on course to probably beat the year before, on the totals. Um, it's absolutely. We've already had one resign. It looks like we've already had 3 disciplinary issues, 3 remedial issues, and 11 internal affairs investigations. Um, so I want you to look at the numbers. I want you to try to figure the things out yourself. I want you to ask the questions. If you got questions, call up there and ask to speak to Lieutenant Chris Burrow. If you want, if you care. Most of the citizens in this town don't care. The ones that do care, they're scared because they don't want to be singled out or targeted. That's just it, hands down. Um, so yeah, that's where we sit at right now, guys. Again, I apologize that this video took a little bit longer to make. Last weekend, I just took some time off. Trying to get some more things together for videos, and we've got some things coming. I can't tell you exactly when they're going to be out or when we're gonna get everything lined up to do it. It's the holiday season, it's Thanksgiving coming up next week, and then we got to get ready for Christmas. So we're working on some things. And again, I appreciate you guys following me. Again, reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. Reach out to me on here. If you see something going on at the police department that you or in the city that's involving the police department, if I can help you FOI it, I will. Reach out to Amanda Erickson at the Concerned Citizens of Jacksonville, Arkansas page. Um, you know, we're trying to do this. And I've had a lot of good feedback from some of the citizens here in Jacksonville that have watched the videos. And, from city council to the police department. This page is for everything involving in the city, not just the police department. It's just like the mayor. We had a city council meeting last Thursday or just a couple of days ago, and the budget was passed. But nobody knows that there's a 4% pay raise for every city employee come January 1st. 4%. They don't know where this money's coming from. The citizens don't get it. The citizens don't understand. Police officers are only getting 2.5. Everybody below the police chief is only getting a 2.5% pay raise. They didn't discuss any of that in city council. They went into executive session to discuss that, and they weren't supposed to do that. But you know what? The citizens are okay with it. The media is okay with it. I hate it for y'all. I do. Drive around and look at this crap hole city. Look at the things that's going on. Look at what's happening. It's not the way it should be. This city has been a lot better than it is right now. I'm sorry to say it's a crap hole city, but this city used to be something. And I've talked to a lot of citizens that have lived here for many, 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 many years and grew up here. And they're disgusted with it, as they should be. They're disgusted with it. So reach out to me, guys. Like the page, like this video, share this video. We're going to keep doing it. We're just trying to slow things down here a little bit. We're working on things again for the future. We're not letting off this. We're not taking our foot off the throttle. We are just having to back off the throttle a little bit, let off of it just a little bit, because we want people to understand. We want them to do these things and help us and come expose this city for what it's worth, which is corruption and dirtiness. Unless you have money, unless you're on the city council and you've got money and you think you got money and you think your crap don't stink, you can do whatever you want to. But again, uh, thanks everybody for watching. Please like the video, share the video, like the page. Tell your friends to reach out to it, share it or whatever, like it, follow me. This is going to be an ongoing thing. And again, I apologize for taking the week off, or the last couple of weeks off. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a good rest of the week. I hope you have a very blessed Thanksgiving with your family this week. Hug them, be thankful for them. And let's continue to push on through for the rest of the year. Okay. And let's continue to work with each other. Let's continue to push for transparency, push for accountability. And I hope everyone has a great week and take care. Peace, y'all.